Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a clip of plus-size influencer Jae Bae complaining that they got stuck in a revolving door at the airport and none of the employees would help them get out. This is the same plus-size influencer who has complained that fat people should get a free extra seat on airlines, hallways aren't wide enough in hotels, and booths aren't big enough in restaurants. We're also going to be taking a look at a few bonus clips from this same creator, including one where they're complaining that bathrooms and airplanes aren't big enough. How many more complaints of "this isn't large enough for my plus-size body" can we get from one person? Stick around to find out. Please be sure to check out my second channel where I react to things that are not related to fat acceptance. I recently released a video on that channel about an alpha male giving the worst dating advice ever. Here's a link. Before we proceed, please click the like button so that I may apply comb to mustache.
I can't use most airplane lavatories, and neither can many other plus-size individuals, as well as those who are differently abled.
Okay, I don't know why we're bringing people who are differently abled into this.
It's inhumane that the travel industry doesn't prioritize making travel accessible and comfortable. For everybody.
For everybody. She always says that it's inhuman. You grew larger than the bathroom, so I don't know why you're complaining that the airline industry is treating you in an inhuman manner. They didn't do anything. You're the one who did stuff. Okay, so now Jae Bae is demanding larger bathrooms as well. Add that to the list of demands. Next.
Recently, I had a distressing experience at Chicago O'Hare Airport. As a plus-size ambulatory wheelchair user, I faced a significant challenge when trying to get to baggage claim.
What is an ambulatory wheelchair user? Like you have to be carried around in an ambulance all the time?
The only option was to go through a revolving door. We pressed the button to slow it down for people with disabilities, but as soon as we entered, we got stuck.
I can just picture this in my mind's eye. Dude, can you imagine going to the airport and you just see this obese person wedged into the revolving door? You see Jae Bae wedged in there and her plus-size boyfriend trying to yank her out or whatever, or they're both wedged in there and they're desperately, frantically flailing their limbs around trying to get help.
I'm claustrophobic and began to panic, frantically motioning to the staff for help.
Okay, so of course they start waving to the staff for help.
They just stared at me, offering no assistance.
Well, dude, I mean, they only get paid so much, man. Are we gonna risk, like, throwing our back out and potentially straining something trying to help an obese person out of a revolving door for minimum wage, or even for like 15 or 20 an hour? I might need my back later, you know? Like, I can't go disabling myself trying to help you for this crappy pay, right? I'm sure that's how the staff feels. They're like, I didn't see anything, man. You go take care of it, Mark. All right. Everybody that worked there all of a sudden was just like, oh, dude, I need to go clean the snack bar, dude. Yeah.
A passerby noticed our struggle and tried to help.
A passerby. The TikTok voice is so dumb that it cannot pronounce passerby.
But the airport staff remained unresponsive. This was my second...
What do you want them to do? You want them to come pull you out of there? So everybody that works at the airport is your personal servant that's there to, like, grab you physically and pull you out of things and push you up ramps and stuff? Because Jae Bae was also recently crying that they had to get out of their wheelchair and use their own legs to walk up the ramp to get onto the airplane instead of being pushed up the ramp in a wheelchair.
Terrible experience at O'Hare during just one trip. The lack of assistance was not only frustrating but dehumanizing.
Dude, stop saying everything is dehumanizing. That's what you said when you couldn't fit into the bathroom. You not fitting into things is not dehumanizing, and if it is, you're the one doing the dehumanizing. The only person that's making it so you can't fit into any of this stuff is you.
Highlighting the necessity for airport staff to treat travelers of all sizes and abilities with the respect and care they deserve.
Okay, that's what you got from that. The airport staff need to work harder because I got stuck in a revolving door. Okay, that's quite a bit of mental gymnastics to try to make this somebody else's fault, right? The next clips that I have is just Jae Bae complaining about more stuff. This whole video is just going to be pure rage bait, dude. Next.
This was right before the incident I'm about to tell you about. On the first leg of the trip, the wheelchair assistance completely failed us. I was left struggling to be okay. There is a video about the incident on my page.
Yes, I believe that's the one I just mentioned a moment ago, where she had to use her own legs, God forbid, to go up the ramp to get on the plane.
That experience was already stressful and humiliating enough, so by the time it was time to fly home, I decided to have my fiancé push me in the wheelchair to avoid any more mishaps.
I think it would be best if you didn't involve random people in your stuff anymore. Yeah, have your fiancé push you, especially up ramps. Can you imagine trying to push somebody up a ramp that is morbidly obese? Pushing a regular-sized person up a ramp would be a huge pain in the balls.
Picture this, me, a plus-size woman in a wheelchair, pushing my suitcase with one hand while my fiancé did their best to steer. It wasn't the easiest setup, but we were managing.
Okay, so I should feel bad for you because you're a plus-size woman in a wheelchair, pushing your suitcase with one hand while your fiancé did their best to steer. Yep, we all have to propel ourselves through the airport and onto the aircraft, carrying our luggage. Yep, I don't know why we should feel bad for you. I've also pushed my luggage before onto an aircraft.
As we were making our way through the terminal, we walked by a group of flight attendants. At first, I thought nothing of it, but then I heard the unmistakable sound of laughter.
Dude, stop.
Directed right at us. They didn't even try to hide it. They pointed, laughed, and made snide remarks. And one said, "What the actual fuck?"
Dude, this didn't happen. I don't believe this. A group of flight attendants that worked there saw you guys walking through the airport. They started looking at you and laughing and making snide remarks. And one of them said, "What the actual fuck?" Oh, I know, dude. That's how society reacts when they see somebody living in a larger body. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. I know that people are jerks and they make fun of people for being fat or whatever all the time. But what the actual fuck? They yelled out as you walked by. Come on. Come on. You ain't gotta BS me. It's your boy, Cynical.
My heart sank. The sting of their mockery was intense.
The sting of their mockery was intense. Who wrote this for you? Is AI writing this for you too? It's not just voicing it.
It's one thing to deal with stares and whispers, but outright laughter and public humiliation. It was too much. Nobody should be treated like this. Read the caption for more.
Nobody should be treated like this. Anytime they reference a body in any of the captions, the word body is in all caps. Alright, so that was completely insane. I don't buy that story for a second, dude. People that worked at the airport started pointing and laughing and saying, "What the actual F?" I would perhaps believe a group of teenagers or something, but flight attendants who work there? Come on, they're always so nice. Next.
Every time I use a rideshare, I'm forced to ride without a seatbelt because there are no seatbelt extenders.
I saw a lot of people in the comment section of this video say, if you need a seatbelt extender for a car, that's insane. Apparently, like, needing one for an airplane is one thing because the seatbelts are all small or something, but like needing one for a car is next level.
It's time to make it mandatory for ride shares to provide seatbelt extenders.
Now we got this ride share is fatphobic.
Read the caption for more.
Dude, hold the hell up.
To provide seatbelt extenders.
Look how tall she is in here. Her head is like in the ceiling of the car. It's quite interesting the places that the human body will store adipose tissue or fat. When you get to certain levels of obese, you become taller when you're like sitting down on the couch because the level of fat between your butt and the couch is increasing, right? Like if I had an extra like foot of fat on my butt, then I would be a foot higher, like up here, and that's what's going on here. Her head is like smashed into the ceiling of that car. My God. Okay, so now we have gotten too big for seatbelts in cars, and we're demanding free seatbelt extenders on all ride shares.
The caption for more.
What we need to do is pass laws that seatbelt extenders be provided in all vehicles free of charge, just in case a plus-size person happens to use said vehicle. The list of demands with this person literally never ends. Next. Now she's going to be responding to this comment that reads, but how about for the person sitting next to you? Like not being rude, but like still.
I totally get this question and I get asked this a lot, so I'm going to go ahead and just address it right now. So for me, I always purchase a second seat now that I'm a size 6X. I also usually am traveling with my partner, so we get a whole row to ourselves. We're
okay, she's currently a 6X.
Both plus size individuals. But when I'm traveling solo, there's a few different things that I do. When flying solo and when I was a size 4 and 5X, I was able to comfortably sit in a first class seat, just one, and I would do that anytime I was flying by myself.
Okay, so you used to be a size 4 and 5X, and you would be able to fit into a first class seat by yourself. Okay, so Jae Bae, I believe, is 26 or 27 years old. They used to be a 4X, then they went to 5X, now they're at a 6X. So like I've said before, where do the accommodations end? If you're just gonna keep getting larger and larger with each passing year, how big do the seats need to be? And that's basically why I included this particular clip, to show that she went from a 4 to a 5 and is now currently a 6X. So her demands for more and more plus size accommodations are completely ridiculous because she just keeps getting bigger and bigger. How many calories does it take to go from a 4X to a 6X? Just out of curiosity.
Now I rarely fly by myself because I have a partner and we're both plus size, so we just make sure to get anything that we need to accommodate ourselves comfortably. And
okay, so what does it mean if we keep getting bigger and bigger with each passing year? It means that we're eating more and more and more and more.
Keep in mind that if you're commenting this on someone's post, they probably know they're plus size and they're probably already doing whatever they can to make sure they're comfortable and everyone around them is going to be comfortable too.
Okay, what was that, a big middle finger to the commenter? The person was like, yo, what about the people next to you? If you're spilling into everybody else's seat and you're like, if you're commenting this on somebody else's post, don't worry about it. They're probably taking care of it. Like, what? It's a legitimate question and a legitimate concern. What if during our flight, you go from a 6X to a 7X and start spilling into my seat more? You're sitting next to me? Hey, what the hell? All of a sudden, you just expanded a little bit. Get off of me. All right, so Jae Bae said that when she was smaller and she used to travel by herself, she would just get a first class seat and she would fit into that. Now she travels with her fiance, boyfriend, whatever, who was also plus size. So basically, the two of them take up a whole row of 3 seats, I believe. And the middle seat is just like half of their body going into the seat between them. I wonder if their bodies actually touch in that one unoccupied seat that is in between them. If they go that far into that seat, that would be completely insane. Next. Now she's going to be responding to this comment that says, buy 2 seats, please.
People ask me if I purchase 2 seats when flying.
2 seats?
They say it's not fair to the person who has to sit next to me if I don't. When I tell them I do, they say I'm selfish for taking a seat from another.
Oh yeah. I've never heard anybody say you're selfish for taking a seat from another person if you buy an extra seat. Everybody's free to buy whatever the hell they want. You're not taking it from somebody else because you bought it. You bought a product that you wanted or needed. So I don't buy that.
The fact of the matter is that people can't stand to see fat people happy. So why should...
You're right. That person just can't stand to see fat people happy. Or maybe they don't want to be laid on by a stranger on an aircraft for several hours. You know, I mean, regardless of how I feel about fat people, I don't want a stranger touching me, period, for any length of time.
We care what they think.
So when I'm encroaching on somebody else's space and they call me out for it, I should just be like, man, you just can't stand to see people with mustaches happy. That's what's going on here. What a narcissistic view of the world you have. Everything is about you. People are either with you or against you, right? How very bizarre. Next.
What I ate for breakfast, fat edition.
Dude, look at the amount of cream cheese on that bagel.
Bagel and cream cheese.
That was more like cream cheese and a splash of bagel. A dollop of bagel. I know these aren't proper bagel measurements, I'm sorry.
Large iced coffee. Chocolate donut with sprinkles.
So I included this clip just to showcase the genetics that lead to obesity. This will make it go from a 4x to a 5x to a 6x and give you ever decreasing access to society. Isn't it weird to upload videos of yourself eating all this type of food and then other videos of yourself demanding that society give you more access to things? The comments underneath this video are gold, just like any other video of hers. And there you have it. Obesity is genetic. I would love to do the math to see how many calories it takes to go from being like 300 pounds to 400 pounds or whatever, like how many excess calories per day. I'm sure several of you out there that actually count calories would not have that much trouble figuring it out. When I made that one 600-pound life video where that chick gained like 100 pounds in a month or so in the hospital, several people actually did the math on that and told me like, yo, she's eating like 10,000 excess calories per day. Can any of you do the math on this one? We don't know the weights though. We just know she went from a 4X to a 5X to a 6X. So what do you think of the clips that we just saw? Do they need to train airport staff to be more helpful when people get stuck in revolving doors? I can't even believe I'm asking this question. Do airplane bathrooms need to be bigger? And what do you think about all those other crazy demands that she had? Leave a comment below. Happy Thursday, everybody. Anyway, that about does it. Thanks for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one.